Hey, what is up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today, well, as you guys see in the title, we are going to be rebuilding another motor. And this one right here is a B16a JDM, as you can see right there. And yeah, so I already cleaned up the cylinders, took it in to get it all deep clean, have them all lubricated, because you don't want to get them rusted. I'm going to go ahead and flip this over, get the crank and the new bearings. The bearings are somewhere. Gotta find them. Gotta get the new bearings. I'm not sure if it's these ones or the other ones, but I did go with some King bearings for main and rod. And I went with Nippon rings for the pistons. I believe I ran Kings in the GSR. So I believe I have mostly everything in these two boxes that I got when I got this motor. And then I have the crank under here. And then the whole valve, or I guess the head gasket kit is all in here. I haven't opened it yet. And thermostat, because I don't have one. And so yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead, turn this over, and let's get to this. You know what's crazy is that this water pump is from this motor, and this thing is super nasty. Like, ew. And then it looks like they put like silicone. That's what it seems like all around here. But you're not supposed to put silicone. Not for B-series water pumps. I mean, overall it looks clean. I mean, it's gotta just clean that up right there. But yeah, I already got a new Gates water pump timing belt kit right here. If I can open it real quick. Yeah, I just got the standard Gates timing belt. Because, I mean, I'm not gonna be racing this motor. Maybe, I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I think I'm just gonna break it in, like have fun with it for a little bit and then sell it, because I do want to see how that B16 power is, or if there is any power. All I know is these things love high revving, so, and I got a ECU for that. So yeah, gotta go ahead and clean these, all of them, all these 5, put the bearings in, and then put some assembly lube, clean the crank, and throw it in. Put the main caps on with the bearings, obviously, with assembly lube. And then go ahead and tighten it, and then we'll go ahead and do the process. Alright, so got the bearings in. The ones with the slit right here, or basically these ones right here, go to the block. And then you have like the blank ones, which go on the caps. So I'm going to go ahead and use some engine assembly lube and just put a good amount on each of them, and then go ahead, get the crank, clean it up, and throw it on. For example, I'm just gonna like so, good amount, like that. Ooh, maybe that was a little too much. Better grab it before it falls down. And this is like almost like honey in a sense. Like, it's very sticky. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and keep doing that, and I'll get back to you guys. All right guys, so I got a little scared because I was like, wait a second, isn't there a little thing that's supposed to go like right here? And so I looked over here and I was like, oh shoot, there's something. So I started looking to the boxes. I'm like, oh, what the heck? I looked at the shed in the backyard. I was like, bro, I can't find it. So then I started doing research, and then I was looking at diagrams on the B16, and it didn't show it. So I was like, what the heck? I look back over here. It says freaking B18C1 only. So like, bruh. No wonder these ones right here, this cap is taller than the other ones, and then these are longer. But yeah, so it looks like I'm gonna go ahead and just tighten all of these, torque them, and we can freaking see if this thing spins, which it should spin because I lubricated it. And yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead, tighten all these, and get them torqued down and see if it spins freely. Alright guys, I am back the next day, and well, I did forget to show you guys that the crank spun pretty good. So now I'm gonna go ahead, take these off, and then put the plastic gauge, and then have to re-torque them all down again and check the measurements. So like I said, I'm gonna take this off and get the plastic gauge, just like, I don't know, like a 1/4 inch or so on each one, and then just put the caps back on, torque them, and like if you're gonna put it together, and then check them. So let's get to that. All right, so I got the plastic gauge. I'll take this one off for an example real quick. So I have one like that. That's just a little long, but it's fine. Just gonna have it like that. Should actually move it more up. I mean, it probably doesn't even matter where, just as long as like it's on the top, the highest. So it's gonna go ahead, throw this back on, and then put the bolts back in, and then torque them. It's gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But for me, it's the other way. So, because the pulley's over here, and then the pulley's on that side. So. All right, so I got the Honda Bible. I'm gonna be following this throughout the whole engine build, just like I did with the GSR. But right here for the main bearing clearances, for the bearings, basically want it between these numbers. I'm going by inches. So as long as it's in that spec, you're good. So I'm gonna go ahead, get my little paper. I got this from O'Reilly's, the plastic gauge. That's where you get it. The green one has the inches and the millimeters. But like I said, I'm going with inches. Just gotta get like the middle. So it's probably at like 16, maybe 17. So it's within spec. So I'm just gonna go ahead and look at all of these, and I get back to you guys. All right, so all of it is in spec. I just checked the main bearings. So next I gotta do the rod bearings. But an important note is when you are checking the clearances, do not rotate the crank because it will mess it up. So try very hard not to mess it up. So I would probably have like these weights like on the side, so it's pretty flat when you try to take out the caps. But one thing I forgot, before I fully tighten the crank down, I need to put in the oil squirters, because if I didn't, then the block, or I guess the engine would have been ruined, because the oil would not go to the pistons. So yeah, I could take the crank back out real quick and then put in the oil squirters, and then I can put the crank back in. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, then we'll get to the rods. All right, we got all the caps back on, we got the oil squirters back in, and with those bolts, you do not want to break them. They only go to 12 foot-pounds of torque. So I don't have a small enough torque wrench for that, so I just grabbed the ratchet by the head and I just went like that. I know that is in spec. So before I put the caps on, I went ahead and put more lube in the bearings. So now it spins nice and smooth, dude. I mean, it's a little hard because the assembly lube is kind of like pretty thick, so it's like honey-like. But other than that, it feels really smooth. It feels really good. If yours doesn't move, then you got a problem. Believe your bearings are probably too tight, or I don't know, because you're supposed to check the clearances before reinstalling it. This feels pretty good. I'm gonna put this together and can't wait for this thing to kick butt. Probably won't kick too many butts because it's a little bit slower than the GSR, but this thing should rev pretty high. So now next we gotta check the rod bearing clearances. All right, so this right here is a B16 piston, and typically the B16 are domed, and like the GSR, it's pretty flat. So looking at this looks pretty cool. I'm gonna go ahead, put in the rod bearings right there. I'm not gonna put on the rings just yet. I'm just gonna oil up the cylinders, oil up the piston, and then just slip it in into the block. The bearings on, check that, move on to the next one, check that, next one, next one. Once those are all good, then I can go ahead, put the rings on, which is a specific order that they have to be on. One side is in. From there, it's just all downhill. Just everything going to be all nice and smooth, hopefully. Wood, I don't know where wood is, somewhere. Anyways, so yeah, so literally the whole, like the biggest thing of rebuilding a motor is like the crank and checking the clearances. So after you get all of that done, then it's just everything on the outside, just like the tray, the oil pan, the covers. So yeah, can't wait for this thing to be done. I know I've already said it before, but whew, let's get it. I got the piston in without the rings. I went ahead and lubricated the walls and the piston itself, and I put the bearings in, putting the nuts on right now. So I was looking at the torque specs for the nuts, and the G-Star is just a little bit different. I was reading up, you want to do 14 and then 30. Specifically for the B16, it's 30. And then the GSR is 33. So, I mean, 3 pounds, I mean, I don't know. I'm just trying to play it safe. And then I have one of the plastic gauge inside. So I'm going to go ahead and do that 14, then 30. And then go ahead and take it off and check the specs for that. Literally, that's how I'm going to be doing it for all of these. Let's go ahead and get on to that. All right, I just got done with checking the bearing clearances and they were all good. What I was mainly looking for is in this, I'm basically looking for the measuring, because if you guys remember, it's like a little oval when you smash it. So I'm looking for it smaller than this, but a little bit bigger than this, 15 thousandths. So bigger than that, a little bit smaller than that. So basically between that, and it's good. All of them were like that, so that's good. I'm gonna go ahead and check out how the rings are. Just gotta find it. Put the rings on, throw the pistons in, torque it all down, and from there, we are good for the main part. I'm gonna go ahead and look it up and see how it is. All right, so before I get ahead of myself for installing the rings on there, first off, I need a tool to put the rings onto the pistons. So I gotta ask a buddy if I could borrow his tool. But basically, before I put, like I said, on the pistons, I got to check the end gap in the cylinder. So I just got some standard rings, standard size rings. So just 81 mil. So that's what I used for the GSR and they were good. Here are the measurements. So we got the top ring, second ring, the oil ring. So I mean, technically all we got to check is all of these. And then once those are good, then got to get the tool, install them, and install the pistons into the block. All right, so back at it again. I have the tool to put the rings on the pistons. Basically stretch the ring out just a bit and you can like fit it over the piston. So now here are the NPR or Nippon piston rings, and they have them labeled. So this is the first one, the second, and then the oil one. We gotta go ahead and check this gap right here with a feeler gauge, and once I measure those, then I can go ahead and install them on the pistons. All right, so if you guys don't know too much about piston rings, well, we have the first one, which these go on the top of the piston, and then these, I believe, go on the middle, or in the middle, I should say. And then these right here are the oil rings, which basically keeps the oil in the grooves right there. And then we have these little washers, or I guess not washers, but these little rings that go between them to keep it in place. So that's basically what keeps your piston oiled or lubricated, and these are to keep the combustion in. So yeah, like I said, gotta go ahead and measure these. So I'm going to go ahead and start with all of one, and I'm gonna put them, so since these are one, I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I make sure they're all in their own slot, basically. All right, so we got the first ring. I'm gonna go ahead and insert it into the cylinder. I went ahead and oiled up the rings. because you got to do that. Took them all in oil. And then the cylinders already has oil in it. Doesn't necessarily have to be the specific piston. They all should go in. All right, so now that we have it mostly down there, it does say 15 to 20 millimeters from the bottom. So that's about almost 3/4 down. So now I'm gonna go ahead and get the feeler gauge. I don't know where I placed it. There it is. And then we gotta check the clearances of between 0.20 to 0.35 millimeter. All right, so I just checked that one, and that one was good. When it compresses, or when it's in the cylinder wall, it squeezes, makes the gap tighter, and then you just get your feeler gauge, and you just see when it's has like a snug pull to it. So this one was in spec. So now I'm gonna go ahead and check the rest of them, and once they're on spec, then I can throw them on the pistons. Let's get it. All the rings are now in spec. So now we can go ahead and get the pistons and start to installing them or putting them on. So here's the alignment. So there's a specific way they go. And here it is, that first ring, the second ring, and then that skinny, and then that one. It's called the spacer, I guess. Looks like the top ring, we gotta have it this way, and then approximately 90 degrees. And then the oil ring. Gotta go ahead and do that and get this installed. All right, so finally got all the rings on in that specific way. You want to leave some gaps so the piston's aligned, but this is barely enough. The piston is aligned, the cylinder is lubed up, so now go ahead and smack it. Piston's now in. Rotate this over and go ahead and put on the cap too. I do gotta see which way it is. So there's a number, or bottom of number on this cap. There it is on the bottom. Put the cap back on.
If you had any doubts, you take this extra piston. You know the arrow's pointed to number 1, which is timing belt. He's talking about number right here. So number 2, arrow's pointing this way. The number would be on the bottom side.
And since I know that the bearings are all in spec, I can just go ahead and torque these nuts right here, and we'll be set to go and do the rest of them. Well guys, the pistons are finally in. All the nuts are torqued, all the bolts are torqued. We got the pistons all right here. Let's get closer. Look at that.
To make it easier, quicker, put your lines. That way you know more or less where you gotta hit all your piston ring gaps.
This is the weird oil ring, and then the skinny ones. This is the top ring, and this is the second ring. If we go ahead and come over here, this should rotate pretty good. Oh yeah, feels really good. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put a TDC.
Look at the dome on these, jeez.
Yeah, and the dome too. Look at that.
Hard to tell on camera, but
there we go, right there. On the GSR, it's flat. So if I would have put these in on the GSR, oh man, it would have been good. I think today I'm gonna stop it right here. I feel like I've already done quite a bit today. I could continue, but I want to go ahead and rest, restart my mind, and clean up. Yeah, got some stuff over here. So yeah, see you guys in the next clip. All right, back at it, and as you guys saw in that last clip, we put in the pistons. So now we're gonna go ahead and install the oil pump. But before I do that, I gotta replace that O-ring right there. And then I got to replace that seal right there. And once it's on there, then we can put that gasket on there, which is in this kit that I got. Got the Fel-Pro gasket kit, and it does come with 2 O-rings. I'm not sure why, but oil pump and 2 O-ring. Yeah, it's 2 O-rings, so maybe it's an extra one. But yeah, for this oil pump, it's just that one O-ring right there, that oil seal, and then for the oil pump or the pickup tube right there. And I did get a seal for this one too. All right, so I got the new O-ring in, and then got that new seal in. So you just want to make it just nice and flush. So now, if you look over here, we gotta get the Honda Bond or any type of silicone. Basically get it on that edge right there. So it would basically be along this right there. And then from there, we could just slap it on, throw the bolts in. I don't think I have the bolts. I was just looking for them. So I'm just gonna try to find the ones closest that will grab. But yeah, other than that, silicone, then throw it on, you should be good. Shout out to Noah. I got bolts from him, from his spare B16 that he had. So now I can finally put on the oil pump. So I want to be starting on the head now, and the block is almost done. I gotta wait on a couple of things, but in the meantime, like I said, I'm gonna work on the head. So what I'm really gonna do to this is just replace the valve stem seals, because I don't know if they've been dry rotted or not. Head hasn't been ran in a while, so just for peace of mind, I'm gonna replace them. And then this is a 89 B16a PR32. So this is JDM. I mean, the only difference is they have more aggressive cams, or just a little bit aggressive cam. This thing, it looks a little dirty inside. Seeing some crevices. So I'm just gonna go ahead, take this apart, clean it, replace the valve stem seals, and then we can get this thing all ready to put on the block. So I'm gonna go ahead and start taking it apart. Got the head all taken apart. Luckily I took everything apart because there was no gasket for the VTEC solenoid. I was like, what the heck? So I'm gonna go ahead, get a VTEC solenoid kit or gasket kit. Now I have the tool that I need to compress the valve spring. But before I compress it, I'm gonna go ahead and get a microfiber, throw it underneath so it's not like hitting something hard. Got the tool from eBay, it was like 15 bucks. I kind of wish to use bolts for this, but oh well. I mean, I could replace some bolts, but whatever. So yeah, basically this is the setup, how it is. Got that screw going that way, or that bolt, I should say, going that way. And it's kind of rounded on the bottom. And then obviously we got this. So I gotta get a magnet because there's two little, I forgot what they're called. There's a name for them. I'll put them up right here. I don't know the top of my head. Right there. Those two little C, like, locking clip thing, or not clips, but those right there. You got to get them with the magnet or else they'll fall, and I mean, you'll probably still get them, but I was trying to do it with the tool that I got because I thought I remember me and Kelvin, all we did was just push it down and it like popped off, but I guess maybe not, because me and my dad just got a tool for the valve springs because we bought some retainers for the S1000, some AP2s, because I guess the AP1s are known to break after like 200,000 miles. We got the tool and I tried it on this one and it worked pretty good. I just got to give it a good smack and then it pops off. Luckily this is magnetic, so it catches everything. And then if we look right here, they look to be not straight up, but a little bit curved. I believe that's how they go in, like that. Oh yeah, you can see right there. That's how they lock in. Yeah, you can see that little ridge on the bottom. I'm gonna go ahead and do it to all of these and get to it. So we got the valve stems, retainers, and springs out. So I have them in order, like if I was looking at the head. So this is exhaust side, that's intake side. So if I was looking at the exhaust side, well, I guess if I was looking at the intake side like this, it's in order. Those valve stems over here, and so on. Same thing with the other side when I flip it. I'm gonna go ahead and try to clean a little bit because it seems like I've missed a few spots in here. I believe I got some vice grips. I just clamped it on and just started wiggling it. I believe that's what I did. I don't remember, but if it works, it's gonna work. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean up and do that. All right, now I got all the valve stem seals. Oh, there goes the bag. I got all the valve stem seals, the old ones out. The first ones were a little hard because I was trying to remember how I was doing it, but basically you want to get it on there pretty firm, and then once it's locked on, you start going a little bit. Once it starts getting looser, you start going more. Most of the time it will just come off with a lot of force, like going back and forth. Like I was doing it like this, but sometimes it'll come off, so you have to take it out, tighten it just a little bit, and then squeeze it, and then it should come out now. So all those are out now. I got the bottom seating, I don't know what these are called, probably retainers as well, but they are also dirty, so I'm gonna clean those up. I'm gonna clean everything on here, and then I'm gonna go ahead and clean all this because it's quite dirty in there. So yeah, basically I'm gonna be cleaning everything as much as I can. I got all that cleaned up, and I went ahead and started cleaning a little bit inside of here. And right here in my hand is some valve grinding compound, which basically I gotta put it on the valve and then throw it in there and go back and forth. Well, I don't have the tool. I thought about getting the tool, but I seen that Boosted Boy Kyle from Boosted Boy's YouTube channel, he actually threw the valve in and put in a rubber hose and put it on a drill. Well, I gotta take that off. And he just basically just started grinding it like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and attempt to do that. By the way, this is my first time ever doing this, so crossing fingers. Hopefully it goes good. So I got the head mostly assembled. I changed the VTEC Solenoid gasket and put on that housing right there. I just realized that I don't have the little guide pins, I forgot what they're called. I need to get them because they are very important. So either a single cam will work. I gotta do some research. If it does work, I'll use that. But if not, then I'm gonna have to buy some. But other than that, this is gonna have to be on the pause again. But for you guys, it's gonna be in the next clip. So see you guys in a bit. All right, so last clip you guys saw, I assembled the head. Now I have the dowel pins. That's what they're called, dowel pins. It seemed like the transmission and the head are exactly the same part number. There's the part number if you guys want it. So I got two of them, and I believe they go one right there and one right there. I believe so. But I just wanted to show you guys real quick that this spins pretty good. Look at that. I just lubricated the cylinder wall, so it spins nice. So I'm just gonna put it back to TDC. It's about right there. So now I'm gonna go ahead, put the dowel pins on the head, and then slap the head on. Let's get it, boys. Well, there you guys go. Now it's looking like a whole motor now. But now realizing it, I gotta take the cams back off so I can access the holes for the head studs. So let's get back into that. All right, now that the head is disassembled once again, I gotta go ahead and put the head studs in. Yes, I am reusing these head studs. These only have about 40,000 miles on them from what I was told. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna throw some oil in here because I'm pretty sure, I don't know off the top of my head, again, I'm not an engine builder. These have to be lubricated, so it goes in like pretty nice. And I believe with the APRs, when I did the GSR, I had to throw the APR grease on the threads, so it would, again, go in pretty smooth. So yeah, like I said, put oil in here and then throw them in the head. Looks pretty lubricated. I'm just gonna lubricate the cams when I get it all torqued down, but let's get this done. This is the head bolt torque sequence, and it looks to be about 60 foot-pounds at the end, but first gotta do at 22 foot-pounds and then 60. This is gonna be, if we're looking at the exhaust or the header on this side, so it's gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Sorry, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let me tell you guys, for me, doing the head bolts is like the most nerve-wracking part of the engine rebuild, especially since like the GSR, I had to put APRs, or I didn't have to, but when I put the APRs, they required 80 foot-pounds of torque at the end. So it was 22, 60, and then 88. These are stock, so it only goes up to 60. But even that, I was still nervous. But man, it is a forearm workout. So now I'm gonna go ahead, throw on everything, all the cams and the caps, and then I'll show you guys the bolt torque procedure for that. Now I got everything on, got the plates on. So now here are the torque sequences for the bolts right here. So we got 12 millimeters for the majority, and then those 10 mils on the outside. So it looks to be the 12s are going to be 20 foot-pounds, and then the 10s are going to be 7.2 foot-pounds. I don't have that low of a torque wrench, only 20. So I'm just gonna use the torque wrench for the 20, and then just hand tighten with the little stubby that I have. Pretty useful for the little stubbies. But yeah, here again is the picture, and here we go. Alright, so as you guys saw, I was setting up the valve cover to put on, but luckily I just remembered that I have to do the valve lash still. So I'm glad, I don't know if you guys saw, but I put Honda Bond on the corners because that's what you're supposed to do. And that's what the Honda Bible says. Well, it says on the next page. But yeah, so here we have an ITR valve cover. I guess, well, I'm not too sure if there's like a difference between mine and this one because they're both JDM. So I don't know. But this is an ITR valve cover. Price just went up. No, I'm playing. But yeah, I gotta do the valve lash. Then once that is done, then I can throw on the valve cover. So I'm gonna leave it off of here and then pick up on the next clip. And if you guys have made it this far into the video, I'm not too sure how long it is because I still haven't put it together yet. I really appreciate you guys. This is how to, but yeah, somewhat of a how to. I'm trying my best. I get carried away sometimes, so I apologize if I don't show enough. But yeah, I hope this helps you guys. It looks pretty good, looking like a motor now. So we gotta put on the timing belt, which we gotta do it before the valve lash. Basically, it routes like this. So I'll get the timing belt right now. And then all new water pump, new tensioner spring. This is a Speed Factory heavy duty one. This is what I'm running on my GSR. Let's go ahead and throw that timing belt on. Also this tool, this cam gear holder, it's really convenient. Shout out to Derek letting me borrow this. It's so convenient. Gotta get one myself. Alright, got it on. It was a little bit of a struggle because the spring is super stiff, but we got it on there. And I typically like to have the words pointing out this way, just because it's easier to read if you're trying to identify it. But anyways, I got the little lines marked right there, and then down here as well. So technically this is TDC. So now to get it all tensioned, I got the bolt pretty snugged. So what my dad taught me is to go counterclockwise 3 teeth. So this one should be with that one, if I can remember right. But I'll go ahead and time it and I'll show you guys where it ends up. Went counterclockwise 3 teeth, and that's how it ended up. And so now we got some tension on this side and tension on this side. So now I'm gonna go ahead, torque that. I'll look at the spec and I'll put it up on the screen on what it is, and the timing should be good from this point. Here are the specs now for the valve lash. Gotta make sure it's on TDC for the first cylinder. And so I'm gonna run it on a little bit tighter side. So I got 0.15 millimeters and then 0.18 millimeters for the exhaust. Now that it's at TDC, both the lines are marked. This is up. All right, so when doing this process, you wanna go from the back of it like this, and then you wanna feel a slight drag. Mine, it won't even go through. So I'm gonna have to loosen that nut and then unloosen that screw. So we have a tool that is for the B series VTEC. There's a 10 mil with a screwdriver in the middle. I believe you could probably find it at your local auto parts store. But yeah, this is convenient because it's a 2-in-1. So you just put on that. Well, it's hard to do with one hand, but basically like that, and then loosen the nut and then twist it from there. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that for number 1. So I'm not gonna bore you guys with another long time lapse. I'm just gonna go ahead and do this off camera because this is pretty tedious work. I gotta make sure they're in spec. So you're basically looking for a drag, like, I don't know if you guys can hear it or not, but you just gotta feel like a little drag. I might have to go just a little bit tighter on this one, but this one is pretty good. Yeah, like I said, it's tedious work. It's gonna be a while. Let's get this. All right, got the jump pack on, and we're at 14 volts now. So over 14. So let's try it again. Holy crap, that's fast. Oh, we're building oil pressure. The light's off. Yeah, we got oil pressure, boys. Let's go. Made it all the way to 30 just on crank. So now go ahead, hook up the ECU, prime the fuel, and let's see how this goes. It sounded pretty good, not gonna lie. So let's get it. All right, try this again.